Welcome to VLSI design video of unit 3. So we are looking at CMOS subsystem design. In the first lecture we have seen about the introduction of this particular memory system, semiconductor memories. So in the lecture 2 we are going to see in detail about the SRAM. So the objective of this lecture is to make you understand SRAM basics, CMOS SRAM cell, CMOS SRAM cell design, read operation and write operation. So let's move on to the SRAM basics. The memory circuit is said to be static if the stored data can be retained indefinitely as long as the power supply is on without any need for periodic refresh operation. So the data storage cell, that is the 1-bit memory cell in the static RAM arrays, invariably consists of a simple latch circuit with two stable operating points. Depending on the preserved state of the two inverter latch circuit, the data being held in the memory cell will be interpreted either as logic 0 or as logic 1. So here you can see two inverters. They are made like the latch circuit, and here you can observe the two switches. These are made up of NMOS. So these NMOS will act as a switch to pass and to stop. So to access, so that's why they are called as access transistors. To access the data contained in the memory cell via this bit line or bit line bar, we need at least one switch which is controlled by the corresponding word line. So this is the word line, this is the bit line, and this is the bit bar line. So this particular switches are for accessing these bit lines from the word line. So a low power SRAM cell may be designed by using cross coupled CMOS inverters. So like what we have shown in the previous diagram. The most important advantage of this circuit topology is that the static power dissipation is very small. Essentially, it is limited by small leakage current. Other advantage of this design are high noise immunity due to larger noise margins and the ability to operate at low power supply. These advantages are because of CMOS inverters. The inverters which are shown as a latch in the previous diagram are made up of CMOS inverter or CMOS circuitry. The major disadvantage of this topology is only larger cell size. So the circuit of the full CMOS static is shown in the figure that you can see here. The two inverters like a latch you can see here. This is one inverter and this is the other inverter. These M3 and M4 are for access switches or access transistors for accessing bit and bit bar. So the memory cell consists of simple CMOS inverters connected back to back and the two access transistors. The access transistors are turned on when a word line is activated for read or write operation, connecting the cell to the complementary bit line columns. Now the question comes up is the transistor size. So to determine WL ratio of transistors, a number of design criteria must be taken into consideration. The two basic requirements which dictate WL ratios are that the read operation should not destroy the stored information in the cell, and the cell should allow stored information modification during write operation. So these two should be acceptable whenever we try to calculate the size of the transistors. So in order to consider operations of SRAM, we have to take into account the relatively large parasitics. So the parasitics what we have has to be considered, that is Cout and Cin and column pull transistors as which are shown in the figure. When none of the word line is selected, the pass transistors M3 and M4, you can see here this Pass transistors are nothing but the access transistors. So the pass transistors are turned off, because if you are not going to select any of them, then the data is retained in the memory cells as it is. The column capacitances are charged by the pull-up transistors P1 and P2. The voltage across the column capacitor reaches VDD minus the threshold voltage, because the pull-up is, at the pull-up we give the supply which is VDD. Now let's look the SRAM read operation as well as SRAM write operation. So first we will see the SRAM read. So in the read operation, what happens? So consider a data read operation. So this is assumed that the data 0 is stored. So how to take out that 0 which is stored? So if you look at previous diagram, here there were two inverters which are connected back to back. So when I say 0 is stored, the pass transistors, the transistors M2 and M5 are turned off. You can see they are open. Off, I mean to say here open, while M1 and M6 are short circuit, or they are in the linear mode, this one M1 and M6. So thus internal node voltage at this point is 0. If this is 0, as I said, these are connected inverse, so here will be VDD or logic 1 before the access transistors are turned on. So the active transistors at the beginning of the read operation are shown here. So now we can read strong 0 from the cell which is already stored. So after the pass transistor M3 and M4 are turned on by the row selection circuitry, the voltage CB of that particular transistor will not change any significant variations, because no current flows through M4. On the other hand, M1 and M3 will conduct a non-zero current, and the voltage level of CB will begin to drop slightly. The node voltage V1 will increase from its initial value of 0. The node voltage V1 may exceed the threshold voltage of M2 during this process, forcing an unintended change of the stored state. Therefore, what we are supposed to see is the voltage should not exceed the threshold voltage of M2. That means we need to maintain this formula, that is Vmax should be less than or equal Vtn. The transistor M3 is in saturation whereas M1 is in linear. Equating the currents, we get this formula: beta by 2 VDD minus V1 minus Vtn square is again beta by 2 into VDD minus Vtn into V1 minus V1 square. So then we get beta N3 by beta N1 is W by L3 by W by L1, which is less than or equal 2 times Vtn into 2 VDD minus 1.5 Vth by VDD minus 2 Vtn. Now moving on to write operation. So the same circuitry, now we are writing into this. So for writing this, again we need to raise the word line and we need to raise the bit line. So beginning of the write operation, what are the voltage levels? So here the voltage level V1 is 0, and here at this point the voltage level V2 is 0. The transistors M1 and M6 are turned off, that means open, whereas M2 and M5 are operating in the linear mode because of these voltages. See, when 0 is given, this will go into linear mode, and here when 1 is supplied or 0 is supplied to N channel MOSFET, here we have the N channel MOSFET, so the N channel MOSFET will go off. Similarly, when 1 is given to the P channel MOSFET, here it goes off, whereas the N channel will go into linear mode. So thus the internal voltage V1 is VDD and V2 is 0 before the access transistors are turned on. How do we turn on the access transistor? By raising the word line. To the gate of M3 and to the gate of M4 is a word line connected. So raising the word line, that means we are making the word line as high. So when we make the word line as high, that means we are making this M3 as a closed switch as well as M4 as a closed switch. So the column voltage VB is forced to 0 by the right circuitry. So once M3 and M4 are turned on, as I shown the access transistors here, they are turned on, we expect the node voltage V2 to remain below the threshold voltage of M1, V2 here. So when this is on, so this becomes low. So you can see here, since M2 and M4 are designed according to the equation mentioned which is before, the voltage at node 2 will not be sufficient to turn on M1. You can see here, to turn on M1, the M1 is connected here, so this voltage may not be sufficient. The voltage which is coming up here, which is connected to M1, may not be sufficient to turn on. So the voltage at node 2 will not be sufficient to turn on. To change the stored information, we are supposed to, that means force V1 to 0 and V2 to VDD. The node voltage V1 must be reduced below the threshold voltage of M2 so that M2 turns off. When V1 is VTN, the transistor M3 operates in linear region while M5 operates in saturation region. So equating their equations, we get beta by 2 into 0 minus VDD minus VTP square equals beta N3 by 2 into 2 into VDD minus VTN into V1 minus V1 square. So rearranging the condition of the result, we get beta P S3 W by L5 by W by 2 times VDD minus 1.5 N by 20 minus. So the principle of right circuit is to assert voltage of one of the columns to a low level. So this can be achieved by connecting either bit or bit bar to ground through transistor M3 and either of M2 or M1. What are M2 and M1? M1 is the MOSFET which is connected in the pull down of first inverter, and M2 is the pull up which is connected for the second inverter, and M3 is the access transistor. The transistor M3 is driven by the column decoder selecting the specified column. The transistor M1 is on only in the presence of write enable signal, and when the data bit is to be written, it is 0. The transistor M2 is on only in the presence of the write signal, and when the data bit is to be written, it is 1. So the circuit of write, this is the write circuitry where we are supposed to pass the data and through the NOR we want the circuit. Then the bit line. This bit line will rewrite this one. The code DRAM cell is made up of